you want to put in the chat what your role is. Sometimes it's nice to know. That way I can make sure I'm hitting on, and if I know what your role is, I can make sure I direct some of the conversations towards your role at your school about how to strengthen students' relationships and the resilience in this digital world. Right. Like I said, we had quite a few signups, but a lot of people get busy. We're going to be doing this recording, and then that way we can push this out to those people who are busy and get this information out to people. So the recording is also for those who want to get it out to other people that are at their school site that you feel like they need to hear this to help strengthen the student relationships. So, all right, I think we'll get rolling to be courteous of the time for the people who are here. If you guys don't know who I am, my name's oh, perfect. Thank you. Manager of Child Advisory. Okay, perfect. Thank you for that, Erin. Yes, thanks for sharing that. My name is Kim Carr. I'm the executive director and the co-founder of Digital for Good. We are doing a series around digital resilience. I'm leading this one, and then I'm excited because we'll have our intern team will be leading the next two. They're going to have special guests on. So, Erin, since you're in that field, if you are interested to team up with one of our interns, we are looking for some other people to help them present their projects that they have coming up. So. The next one's about creating online space in the digital safe online space. And then the last one is about with the phone-free campuses changing, how can you be about phone-free and not about restrictions? So those are kind of the big series. But I'm excited for you guys joining us today, for those who can make it or that are watching the recording afterwards. My goal is that we engage with you this entire time, you get something out of this to be able to bring back to your thing. So I'm sure you're here because you have no problems at your campus with online drama, right? Again, it's like, let me eat my popcorn while I listen to all the drama that happens at schools. So with that being said, the biggest thing is if we can eliminate this online drama, we can then decrease on-campus drama, which then decreases your discipline, which then creates that safer and happier community, which we're trying to do, right? So we want to be able to figure out how can we make these students be resilient on that end. These numbers are increasing, massively increasing. There's tons of studies out there around that of just anything from cyberbullying. It's now over 50%, right? Offensive name calling, spreading false rumors about them, receiving explicit images they didn't ask for, constantly being asked where they are and what they're doing and who they're with other than their parents, physical threats, and then having explicit image of them being shared without their consent. So these numbers are massively increasing because we need to make sure we're educating students on how to take care of this, right? And that's exactly what Digital for Good does is we come in because we want people to use it for good. As you can see, you can make money off of your brand. And we want students to know that they know it, just like they want to be pro athletes. They also want to be influencers. So it's all about your brand, right? So we're trying to get that out there. So I think the biggest one that is really good to get schools is their policy. What is your policy around it? Again, most schools are going to phone free, making sure the students and the parents understand the why. Like, here's all the reasons why schools have gone to phone free with the focus, improve mental health, more meaningful peer interactions, right? Stronger interconnections. And then also is the pressures of mutual respect. I love that we got Erin here from Atlanta because I know they're doing data around this of how is this actually helping with a state that is going to phone free? Like, how is this changing? Is the results there? Honestly, the schools I've been working with, they're seeing it. There's less of the students posting things during the day so that they aren't focusing on that, right? And they're not freaked out during the school day. Again, the policy is what is your policy? Even around AI, we need to make sure we have some kind of a policy. We have created some examples. Oops, sorry, that went right to the because we actually, if you click on that, it goes right into a folder where it has sample policies around AI, right? Of making sure students know what is your AI policy, what am I allowed to do. This really helps them so that they can kind of know what they can and can't do, right? So I think that's the biggest one is if you can see, we discovered that some students were genuinely confused because they thought using AI tools was allowed. So even when cops get involved in something, some students didn't realize like that was what's called doxing when they shared someone's information, or that's called slander when you hurt someone's reputation. They didn't know that that actually was a thing. So again, having conversations kind of almost like bluntly of telling them what the rules are is what we're finding that students need, right? Being consistent eliminates confusion. So the more consistent you can be with whatever students come in, if they're frequent flyers into you, being consistent of what your expectations are in your classroom or in your office, or if it's even at the dinner table with your own child, right? If you want them to put their phones away at the dinner table, that means you shouldn't have your phone out during the dinner table, right? So being consistent eliminates that confusion. If you've got one teacher who is allowing them to use their phones and it's supposed to be phone free, it's going to confuse the entire school. Okay. So we're going to make sure I spend some time help. How do you build some trust, right, around this? And again, teaching students to be that digital first responder. This nonprofit started back when I was teaching middle school for 13 years, and students kept coming to like fake pages, hate pages, passive aggressive texts. People were asking them for nudes. They were sending nudes. So somebody actually made a fake Facebook page. One of my teachers at my school. It went on for 2 weeks. Even though my school only had 500 students at the time, it had 1,000 people following the account. Like this is the power of social media, right? When the student finally got caught, but when the student came to me telling me who it was, they were scared. They're like, I don't want to be a snitch, right? Snitches get stitches. And I'm like, I get that, but we also need to have people's backs. Like that's a real person. You told me you would never want anyone to make a page on you. We need to start having more people's backs. When I started telling the why we need to make sure report, they actually were like, oh, you've got a point, right? Of like, I wouldn't want that to happen to me or one of my siblings or, my cousin or my best friends. Like, we need to have more people's backs. When I ask other students, like, why didn't you help with this? A lot of them didn't know what to do, right? They didn't know the steps. So what happened a year later was someone made a fake Instagram page and the exact same teacher, but this time, instead of it going on for over 2 weeks, it was shut down in under 45 minutes. Instead of having 1,000 people following it, as you can see, there are no people following it. It's following 21 accounts, but nobody's following it. It was shut down in 45 minutes because right away, students knew what to go do. They knew to go and respectfully call it out because we started training them on how to do that. How do you respectfully call it out, right? You just simply say, hey, my name's Ethan. I'm going to tell Courtney, who's our school secretary. My name is Nuru. This is really mean. Like, I don't approve of this. Nuru was one of the people the year before. She was scared to actually say something because she'd be the only person who would say anything. I said, what if you texted your friends to also go comment? So she texted her friend Haley, who then commented right below her, right? So just seeing there was over 40 plus students who commented in favor of it. This is why it was shut down in under 45 minutes. A lot of students are like, I didn't know what to say. So I said, okay. So then they came up with this. What if we just put a hashtag I can help on it? Hashtag and help, honestly, all that is, it doesn't really, you can't really search it, but it really is just saying like, hey, I'm here to help, right? I don't know what to say. I'm just going to say this because some people want to say something. They don't know what to say after, especially after somebody else has. So many students started doing that's kind of things because they see there's a lot of messed up stuff that instead of it just scrolling right by and be like, that's messed up, they're starting to be digital first responders. They're the first ones to the scene. They're the first ones saying, hey, I can help with this. I can help report this. I can help make sure I show a trusted adult because this is one that you definitely want to show a trusted adult. This got to the cops. The cops did show up to this kid's house. He was planning something. This person wasn't digital first responder. They're saving lives. Hundreds and hundreds of students saw this, but only one person reported. That's all we need. But making sure students know. When I ask other students of the hundreds of people who saw this, why didn't you report it? They would go, well, it had smiley face emojis. I just thought it was a joke. This is a big thing we're training students is like, there's certain things you just don't joke about anymore. This is one of them. This is something we need your help on being that digital first responder and making sure it gets reported, right? Of that, making sure they're seen. This is important. So as Digital for Good, our company name is legally called Digital for Good because companies like Google and TikTok kept asking us, what do you do to help? And we're like, we make Digital for Good. How do we do that? We educate. You've got to educate the students. Super important, educate them on the, here's what you need to do. If you see this, this is what you do. Engage with them. We're going to do some activities during this session where you can engage. And then the last one is empower them. What can they do? Like I just showed you what you can do if those situations do arise. So how can we engage? and empower them, right, and educate them is you give them examples of stories. This is a school that I work with, and they had a ship or dip account. If you don't know what that is, it's where you put two students together saying, oh, Sebas and Krista, they would be so cute together. Let's put them together. It always starts off super cute and like not harmful and fun, right? And usually with sixth graders, sometimes it does get into seventh and eighth grade and freshmen, right? But it always somebody takes across the line of being inappropriate, rude, and cruel, where they put something they shouldn't put together. So take someone like you can see here, I put a box around, they respectfully called out their peers, like, hey, did you all get consent? Because people might be uncomfy. So they're starting to respectfully call it out. Like, hey, did you get their consent? I don't want to follow this on that end. We also teach students, like, if you like it, you can see there's 12 people liked it, 7 comment in favor of it, 16 reshares, right? You can see all those different things. It gets out of control because here's the next one. They put a teacher's name and children. This is where I'm telling them this is where it crosses that line of being inappropriate, rude, and cruel. This is where you need to stop it. You shouldn't like it. You shouldn't follow it. You need to make sure you report it. It's anonymous when you report. This is something you don't joke about. This is a teacher's life. And if you accuse him of being with a relationship with a child, that's some serious consequences of jail time, right? Losing their credential, all that kind of stuff. So these are the kind of things we have a conversation with students of, because then they even took it to the next step where they use AI and put a student and a teacher together and said, let's ship them together, right? And again, teaching them like this is where it crossed the line. I've seen it where they use AI where it's fun, where they like make a video of the principal dancing or something like that, but they're genuinely having fun with the principal with AI of this kind of tool. But when you put a teacher and a student together, how many of you guys think this is messed up? Getting them that they think is messed up to raise their hand and say, yes, I will help and make sure to report. Teach them how to be that digital first responder. If you don't know how to report on TikTok, I highly recommend as an adult, you need to know how. So on TikTok and on Snap, you have to hold the image down, a flag comes up, and that's how you report. I just was at a school yesterday at a middle school, and the middle schools didn't know how to report on TikTok because it's just holding the image down. And then there's a couple different steps. So it is good if you can go into a class or even give the time to the students to even like, let's make sure you know how to report. Okay. That helps them build that resilience, that they know, get that confidence that they can report. I also like doing a like digital wellness self check-in, right? Of like where they're at. 5, they strongly agree. 1, they strongly agree with these statements. I compare myself to others online. Do you strongly agree with the statement? Do you strongly disagree? I feel pressure to keep up with the trends online, right? And please put it in the chat if you want to answer this so you can be engaged, right, with us on that end, right? I feel pressure to keep up with the trends online. Do you strongly agree with that statement? Do you strongly disagree? Go ahead and put in the chat if you're here. I feel more confident online than I do in person. Meaning, like, do you only want to text somebody or can you actually say something to somebody's face, right? I put a lot of effort into my online image. I have lost out on sleep. Oof, or feel tired due to my device. Thanks for putting your answers in. Good job. Yeah. I worry about replying to messages quickly enough. I have deleted or edited a post because it didn't enough likes. It is difficult to go a day without checking social media or gaming. This is a big one for students and even adults. I often pick up my phone in the middle of doing something without realizing it. My online interactions are starting to replace my in-person time with others. I'm guilty of that one. My conflict or drama that happened online affected my real life relationships. So we have them like respectfully call this out because now once they've done these numbers, it's like, okay, let's go back. What can we do to kind of change that? How can we make them better? So it looked like you guys all gave yourself high scores on the sleeping one, right? And so what can you do to change that? I've had students and adults even tell me they no longer put their phone next to their bed. It's on their dresser. So they get up out of bed to go and to reach their phone. Other students have set boundaries like, please don't send me messages after 9:30. I'm in bed by then. So, or they put it on do not disturb mode, right? So there's certain things. I actually just had a student tell me that he's so addicted to his gaming device, he actually got up and he unplugs it because that way he can't actually play with it. So they're actually respectfully calling themselves out, making themselves realizing, hey, I've got to change some behaviors here, and then even sharing their answers so they can hear from other people. Um, so be and when you share it, it is fun to hear. All right, so this is another fun one that we do to get the engagement of the students to kind of build that resilience, right? Of how we call it. So we call this one conversation confession. So you guys get to do it live. So go to your text messages and go to the search menu. And what you're going to do is you're going to type in this word here in a second, and you'll confess how many messages come up with this word in it by putting it in the chat or holding up your hand, so you can like call yourself out. If you think you have three, think again in the top right. It'll say "see all." You're been exposed. You have more. If you have a lot, just type that you have scrolling instead of counting. That means you have a lot. Second step is you're going to see your digital footprint. It'll say exactly what time the message was sent. It'll say who sent it. And was it in a private chat? Was it in a group chat? The third step is you're going to reflect who is the problem? Are you the problem? Is it one of your coworkers? Is it one of your family members? Is it a friend? You're going to respectfully call that person out. All right. All right, here we go. So type in WTF, search and confess. How many messages come up with this word in it? Respectfully call yourself out. Again, if you have the top right, it says three. In the top right, it says see all. That means you've been exposed. You have more. So confess. Put in the chat if you have to scroll, just put scroll. It's okay if you have to hear that. Trust me, there's a lot of people who have a lot. Okay. All right, great. So again, it's making you think who's the problem? Or you look at your digital footprint. If it's you, if you're the problem, what can you do to change? There's a lot of students who are realizing that they are the ones who are causing this problem. And um, they, if it's a swear word, whatever their favorite swear word is, they're like respectfully calling themselves out, right? And making sure that I had one student who told me like, oh yeah, if I actually used or instead of WTF, he actually used the real word of FUCK. He went to auto settings, changed it to every time he tried to type in FUCK, he made it change to fiddlesticks. I'm like, that's hilarious, right? So just making sure you guys do see, we can respectfully call this out. They're starting to see this. It helps them have it. Racial slurs is another big one. So if that's a problem, I have them respectfully put it in their racial slur they don't want to hear. They need to respectfully call it out. Hey, this is messed up. Even removing themselves out of the group chats. You're guilty by association. If you're allowing it to happen in the group chats, you need to make sure you're making it very clear you don't want to be part of that group chat if you're in there. And then for fun, I always like to end with type in love you in your chat, and see how many messages come up with that and who's saying that one. And again, this is just helping the kind of reverse it of like, you hear 100,000 negative comments compared to only 10,000 positive by the time you're 16. So are you yourself making sure we're changing what's happening here, helping people be a little more resilient of seeing more positive things, right? So are you saying positive messages? Or are we only focusing on the negative things? We share stories. Again, here's a group chat that went wrong in Texas. What they did, you can see they all got consequences because they're in a group chat. They named the group chat something super inappropriate. It became a hate crime. FBI had to get involved. As you can see, everything you do on your device is time, dated, logged, and located. So it can tell us exactly, it tells us exactly what time that group chat was changed, and who by who, right? And even though they were like, oh, it still means the same. So when the cops got involved, every student who was in this group chat got a consequence. A lot of them were like, oh, but I didn't open it. No, it tells you exactly what time was this opened, right? Who opened it. Anybody who commented in favor, as you can see, there's a couple that did. They got a bigger consequence. The kid who created this got the biggest consequence. I did have a school who unfortunately did a copycat of this after they saw a presentation with this in it. But what was great about it was the students knew what to do and they turned it right into the administrators. Administrators like Kim, we've been having racial issues, but we've never had students turn people in before. They finally turned this in. They actually went to the kid and said, you need to go turn yourself in because we're not going to snitch on you. They all went in the group chat saying this is messed up. They removed themselves right away. they knew what to do. So realize group chats, no matter how the age, even young as, gosh, I was just with third graders last week, and third graders are telling me about group chats that they're in that people are making inappropriate comments, giving them the steps of what they can do, that they can say, hey, this is messed up. Give them some things that they can say. They can block certain numbers, right? They can remove themselves. A lot of times it is hard for Samsungs and iPhones that don't get along. So it's hard to leave group chat sometimes. So you sometimes have to go to the person, say, please get me out of this group chat. I don't want to be in it. Don't message anymore. You got to give them the steps to what to do. That helps them with of that piece. Okay. The other one that's big with this age group right now too is AI. So if there is conflict going on, this is a girl who was having problems because her friend kept peer pressuring her to do something and she didn't know what to do. So what do? They're now trained to go to AI chatbots. So she went to an AI chatbot to figure out like, how do I handle this situation? So the big thing I'm telling students is like, AI is a great tool. It is a robot. It's a lot of information that's combined together. It sometimes doesn't give you the best answer. It gives you answers, but they're not always right. The right answers are with trained professionals. So we're really making sure we tell them, like, we get it. You might want to start with that, but that's not always the best answer. Just like for doctors, right? You can go and like search up your ailments to figure out what you can do, but going to the doctor is going to be the best solution for you in the long run, right? So having that conversation is big, and knowing that AI tools are are, that youth are encountering. So these are all of them. If you don't know, um, everything from ChatGPT helps them with the academic, right? Brainstorming. Character AI, this is a big one that they were using, interacting with celebrities, fictional characters, right? And they can customize personalities. And then Snapchat has one, right? It's at the very top. That's the interesting part too, is they set it up where it's on the top. And then Meta AI and Instagram has it. So it's at the very top that they're interacting. I will be honest with you, character AI, because they have been having a lot of suicides, they actually just banned it for under 18-year-olds. They just banned it last November, is when they banned it because they were having so many suicide. Students were going to it. It was telling them to go and hurt themselves. So just make sure you are aware of how students are using it, because it is getting into their feeds that they should use AI for a lot of things and get answers. So just start asking students. I think that's the biggest thing that I do, is I always just am intriguing. I'm always asking questions, even though I might know the answers. It's just nice that they know you're curious about it. Okay. And you can see 72% of students are using some kind of an AI companion to have conversations about things. And this is one that's an example of the AI was telling them to go kill themselves, hurt themselves. Okay. It can give very dangerous advice. Okay. 60 scenarios, the chatbots gave dangerous advice 32% of the time. Okay. Again, 16-year-old that died by suicide because of what AI said. AI told it, says you don't want to die because you're weak, right? So that's kind of what it said. So they're really making sure that they're having to shut this down, making sure these chatbots are there. What I like doing is doing interactive lessons. So this is called Behind the Message. This one is kind of interacting like it is a text message, right? If we're just texting back and forth. So I have two students face each other. One student doesn't get to see the screen. And what they do is they start a conversation. I would start a conversation with you, but you would have to respond with just this rule. Right? So in the chat, I'm going to ask you a question and that's how you're going to respond. Okay. So, how was your day in the chat with that rule? Go ahead and put it in the chat. How is your day going? Perfect. Um, how is life? How is life with that rule? Go ahead and put it in the chat for me. If you can see it, they're putting fine, they're putting good. They're using one word. Is this conversation going very well? Right? So they were trying to show students, like, when you just text, you don't get to have a very great conversation. You can't go into deep conversation. So this is again why schools went to phone free, is because students couldn't have very in-depth conversations. If there was a problem, a lot of times students would think, oh, they're mad at me because they only use one word, when really they were busy. They didn't know how to respond. Like it was awkward. They didn't know what to do. And so they just gave a one word response. Here's some other ways that students respond because either they are busy, they don't know how to respond, they don't respond at all, they respond in all caps, they all think they're mad at them when they do all caps, they answer with K, they delay the response for a minute, they use only abbreviations and slangs, right? Responding using only emojis, and then respond with sarcasm. So this is what students do, and so it's kind of fun. I'll let them, one student's back is faced, and then I'll switch them, and then I'll pull up three more, and they get to choose one of those to then showcase. And the whole point is, hey, we've got to actually have face-to-face conversation, especially if you are mad at somebody, instead of blocking, ghosting, right? We need to make sure we're handling it in a better way. So this is why, again, a lot of schools have gone to the phone-free campus. So with that being said, I think the most important AI for leadership, for being a good leader, as you are here on this call, hang on, is authentic interactions, right? So since we are on our device so much and we are ignoring humans, we need to have authentic interactions. So one of the ones I like doing, and if you can partner with somebody and try this when you are with them, I call this Instagram search investigation. So if I was partners with you, you would pull up your Instagram. So go just pull up your Instagram for me right now. And when you're on your Instagram, there's called the search and explore page. If you don't know what that is, it's literally the little magnifying glass here at the bottom. I'm going to click that because this is all the stuff that I have been searching on my Instagram, right? And so, of course, I was obsessed with the bushes at the Super Bowl part thing because I was actually looking up. I was trying to be, you had to be 5'9". I was so sad I could have been a bush on the Super Bowl thing. But also I was looking up the story of Savannah Guthrie's mom. So you can see this is my explore page. So you can find out a lot about somebody based off what they explore off their Instagram. Now I'm making authentic interactions. I can find out a lot about them just by looking at their Instagram explore page. So I have them partner up, have them swap phones, have them look at their explore page. What can they find out about that person? What are they into? What does it say about them? Is that how you want to be known? Right. So even just look, is this how you want to be personally known if somebody had your device? Okay. What is on your explore page? Be interesting to see if anybody wants to comment on what's on their explore page if you looked. Anybody look, Chris or Reno? Anybody want to see what's on your explore page? If you saw, again, you just hit that magnifying glass because that's how you can have the interaction if you were actually with somebody. Okay. Just another fun little engaging thing to be able to have a conversation. Again, that's where you talk about AI, algorithms, the resume for life, right? Of building that resilience in this digital space. Deepfakes are real. Okay, so deepfakes are real. These are two stories where 5 students' faces were taken. And they took their faces and they made it look like these girls sent nude photos, but really it was AI that created it. Even though the boys were caught, the pictures were deleted, taken down, right, whatnot. There are still people who thought, okay, there are still people who thought that these girls actually sent nude photos, right? The damage was done. Some of the girls actually switched schools because they were that embarrassed, right? How many of you guys think this is messed up? If your hand is raised, you can help making sure you are not sharing this gets sent to you. You're reporting it, you're deleting it, making sure you let a trusted adult know. We walk through that because that's what's being a digital first responder. Here's a middle school students who created an audio deepfake with a teacher. They made it seem like the teacher was being racist by making a racial comment. Because students thought he was racist, they found out where he lived, did some bad things to the teacher's house, even though it wasn't real. It was a deepfake made by AI. Even though the student who made it got caught, was taken down. The teacher actually had to ask to be switched schools for his safety. He had to press charges for doxing because you're not allowed to share people's information, like their address, up online. If you think this is messed up, can you help? The question is, will you, right? Making sure students understand that of like what they can do to be that digital first responder of like, once you press send, once you hit that, we're changing people's lives. Is it real? Is it fake? Walking them through, like, there's a lot of AI stuff out there now, especially on the news. How can you make sure you even help your peers, even your parents? Hey, that's not real, because they get so, the rage bait is real when they get so worked up about a story, when really, is that a real story or is it fake? Okay. I love even doing this where they're going to say like, hey, is this real or is this fake? Is this AI? Right. Did the Pope rest in peace, Pope Francis, but did he actually wear this big white puffy coat, or is this fake? What do you guys think? Put it in the chat. Do you guys think this image is real or fake? One thing that is real, he actually did post this picture to his Instagram page. He did actually post this to his Instagram page. That's kind of the fun thing about him. He's such a cool hip one. Okay, Chris thinks it's fake. Okay. Let's see. Oh, Aaron thinks it's fake. All right. And it is fake. How can you tell if you look at his hand? He's just touching the cup. The other things, the arms of Jesus morphed out. Usually AI, he's wearing a wedding ring. The Pope can't wear a wedding ring. But AI is getting better at their images. You just got to be really careful, asking yourself, is this real? Is this fake? Kind of teaching students on how to do that so they can see, like, is the story real? Is it a rumor? Is it true? Is this something we should be sharing? Kind of walking them through those different things. One that I like to do to really help with the resiliency and bridging the gap between especially the adults on your school campuses and the students. I love this activity. It's called Bridging the Gap. So it's 16 points for each column. So give yourself a point if you've done any of these things. And then let me know in the chat how many points you have. If you don't know what something is, it's okay. We want you to ask. We want you to feel comfortable to ask. I promise you, I purposely put something on here because usually someone doesn't know what something is. And that makes it so we don't Google search it. I actually want you to ask an older generation, what is that, so that they can teach you. And we try to bridge the gap instead of you using Google or YouTube and finding out the answer, right? So is there something you don't know what it is? Put that in the chat or give me your score. Let's see. Love it. You've done them all. You got 16. Okay. 13. Oh, there we go. Reno does not know what Columbia House is. Anyone want to explain to Reno what Columbia House is? This is always the best. And that was that one I always get. So Columbia House, Reno, is where they would send you a magazine with stickers, and it was for music. And if you bought so much, you would be able to get albums for like a cent. So it was just kind of this fun thing where you would buy so much albums on that end. Okay. And you would have stamps, is how you did it. I know, right? Isn't that funny? All right, here we go. So now let's have some more fun. Bridge the gap is give yourself a point for these. See, again, this one is 16. If you don't know what something is, let's see if hopefully Reno can help you with this one, because I guarantee you, if you don't know what something is, hopefully Reno can give you the answer. I purposely put something in here to hopefully stump somebody on here to, again, try to bridge that gap. 16 points. And this is how you bring the adults and students together on that end, right? Anybody not know what something is? I think the ones I usually get that people don't know is like, what does it mean by just sliding into DMs? That means if you're interested in somebody, you would DM them, meaning like, hey, how's it? What's up? So many people have started relationships by sliding into someone's DMs. TikTok shop, you can actually go buy things off of that. A highlight. If you go to your Instagram or even Snapchat has it too, but at the very top, sorry, if you go to your DMs, these are the highlights where there can say little comments. That is your the note, shared note on Instagram. And then highlight is where they're highlighting different things, those kind of things, right? So getting people to bridge the gaps so that the younger group people can teach the older people some stuff. Younger people can teach the older people. We can bridge this gap. I try to put like things together. I love that Reno's got 15 out of the 16. If you see, very similar. Columbia House and TikTok Shop, super similar. We've been doing technology for a long time. It's just advanced, right? So this is what we do to kind of keep them engaged, let them know we need to help each other to make things digital for good. The big thing is if you guys work with us, we do have a restorative justice program that is brand new. We're looking for more people to help us to even pilot it. If someone does get in trouble with their device, they can go through the restorative piece. Hey, what were they thinking? It is a PowerPoint presentation that walks them through on those different things. We need to get parents on the same page to help with the resilience with this digital thing. And so we do virtual parent presentations, do in person, but the new one we're doing is what's called Lunch with a Loved One, where parents come, they sit with their kid at lunch, and then we help guide them either virtually or in person. We help guide them through what they could say with that device, because you got to realize students are now digital natives when it comes, they were born with these devices where parents were not. And you can see we've just having a huge success. We had 600 parents when the year before they only had 5 parents show up. So when we're doing these lunch with the loved ones, more parents are showing up, and that way it helps with the students with the resilience of this in device. A couple free things that we give out that's free on our website, and we'll send it out as a follow-up, is our family device agreement. Families, when you want them to walk them through this of like, hey, who are you allowed to talk to online? What happens if I do mess up, right? Kind of gives you guys ideas. What time should they not be on their devices anymore? Can you turn your Wi-Fi off at a certain time? Guiding them through what they should be, knowing, having them sign that. Okay. We have parent guidelines with things that you guys the parents should follow, things that you can easily send out. How I love ending this, especially with this one, because of this being all about resilience. This is their calming companion. And so right now, look at your screensaver and let me know in the chat, what is your screensaver? Because I guarantee you, whatever your screensaver is, it probably just makes you smile. My screensaver, oh, there we go. My screensaver, every time I unlock it, it changes it. So it's everything from my best friends to my family to my pets, right? To interns that I work with, landscape, everything that makes me smile. So if a kid is upset, they come work with you. This is what you can do, is have them show you their screensaver. It'll change their mood instantly. Okay. Another thing I do for the calming companion is sound. I make playlists, right? So if they're coming into my office, they're wanting to work with me, I make playlists. So if they're an athlete, I make beast mode. Forget them is when they broke up with somebody and they need to get their power back. But if you want to like have them calm down, I have like a calming playlist. Just making playlists to again, sound makes them completely change their mood. Okay. What is the song that makes them happy? Play that song on their device, on your device. Calming companion touch. Ask them, hey, when you need to calm yourself down, what do you go to on your device to calm yourself down? It's kind of interesting to hear the different answers. So many students have a certain games that they play. A lot of them will go to the Calm app. They'll read. They'll just scroll on TikTok. Like, what is it that you go to? Some of them like to do gratitude. They'll do a journal on gratitude, right? Shop. They're online shoppers, which is always fun to hear. So again, it's kind of fun to kind of hear what they're doing to kind of get them to use it in a good way. Calming companion, human connections. Who can you call? And again, so that they're not just texting, who can they call to calm themselves down? Better yet, who can they FaceTime? Like I love FaceTiming my nieces. I don't like to only call. I like doing, or if I can't text, I like doing audio messages, because now they can hear my excitement. They can hear my sadness. They can hear my reaction. So that's another big one that I'm trying to get students to do more of is the audio messages. And you can do that even on DMs. So that way they can hear my excitement on my different voice. And the last one is movement. I was a PE teacher. And so this is a great thing you can do, is you can check their step counts. So if they're coming in to see you and they're upset, have them pull up how many steps they've had that day. If it's really low, that's probably why they are really sad and depressed. They need to get out and do some more moving, get some more outside time in. I track this a lot. This one and the last one, I actually have students when they come in to see me, I would actually have them pull up their phone. Let me see your last text messages. When was your last call? When was your last FaceTime? They pull it out, they show me. I like to track it, because usually if students are really isolating, that's when they are high anxiety, high depression, is because they've isolated themselves so much. So I try to get them to get these numbers up, okay, on that end. And the last thing we made, which I'm super proud of, is this digital personal crisis plan. I just went over the digital calming companion, so you can have students fill this out. It just kind of helps so they are in a crisis. You can go back to it. I actually have asked students, can I share this with the other teachers? Because that way they can know this about you. Who are your safe people at school? Who's your safe people at home? Where's your safe place at school? Where's your safe place at home? So they are thinking about those things. And then the REACT is our acronym for how do they handle cyberbullying situations. It just kind of walks them through. And then the digital wellness that we did earlier is on this worksheet. I have them circle 2 of them that they know they need to work on, and then make an action plan of what they can do to change. If it is they're addicted, or if it is probably need to be given more outside time, I make them actually write those down of like respectfully calling themselves out of what they can do to change. Okay. And those are all like free. Again, we have tons of interns. I know we got Reno on here. He's going to be in charge of the next one, the next webinar, that are making sure we're relevant. They're on different teams. They're doing it for college credit or for experience. It's pretty cool to watch them get that power. If you guys ever want to nominate somebody, Aaron Judge from the Yankees is our ambassador. You can nominate somebody who has been using Doodle for Good. Just recognize them. He sends them a gift. It can get sent to the school, and then also they post them on their socials. Again, we have two more webinars coming up, so make sure you guys sign up. We also have Positivity Swag. So, and we try to be the one-stop place to keep having this. I appreciate you guys showing up. Hopefully, you guys got some tool out of this to kind of help keep helping students be more resilient in this digital world. Because man, there's a lot of crazy stuff out there, but we can keep being hopeful and change it by educating, engaging with them, and empowering them. Thank you guys so much for attending. I'll stop the recording. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. If not, we'll see you on the next webinar. Thank you again for showing up.